Four-man rush, 7 players back to cover the pass.
Wilson to Homer out of the backfield, low throw, goes to the ground, makes the catch, stays in bounds. So Seattle has to call a timeout. They have 1 remaining. Russell Wilson looking for his 100th career victory. It would be in his 146th start. Only Tom Brady and Joe Montana have gotten to win number 100 in terms of starts. Faster than Russell Wilson if he gets the job done today.
A couple things here, and if you're Russell Wilson, you're programmed to go for the win, to go for the big play. But you also realize we can play this into overtime, because if I don't have it, because the way that the Tennessee Titans are set up, you've got the first linebacker level about 12 yards deep, and then you've got defenders beyond them. So you don't want to risk a throw that's really going to challenge those guys up front trying to get to the boundaries.
Wilson in trouble. Steps up, spins away, keeps the play alive, hit from behind. Boy, Dupree with a big hit from behind on Wilson. And there are just 8 seconds on the clock. And behind the play, there's an injured Seahawk.
Got Russell Wilson scrambling to throw exactly what Mike Vrabel and all the defenders talked about. They realize he's going to try and do that.
That's the right tackle, Brandon Shell, who is still down on the ground for Seattle. So it's been a real tough day for the offensive linemen here in Seattle. Pre-game, Taylor Lewan injured his right knee, inactive. Their starting left guard for the Titans, Saffold, out with an injury. And now the right tackle, Shell, is down. 8 seconds to go. We're back to Seattle in a moment. Jamarco Jones has come in to play right tackle as Brandon Shell slowly walked off the field for the Seahawks. 10 seconds on the clock. Seattle is out of timeouts. It's 3rd down and 7. Tennessee playing an extreme prevent defense here. Wilson buying some time. Now he's going to run it. Trying to get out of bounds. He has to, and he does, with 2 seconds on the clock. We have had some famous Hail Marys here in Seattle. And we'll see if Russell Wilson can uncork one here with 2 seconds left.
And to prevent it, on the other end, the Titans are sending in A.J. Brown, receiver, to play back deep. And really, at this point, you want to knock the ball down. You don't want any tips. You don't want any deflections if you're Tennessee.
A.J. Brown, he played defense last week against Arizona, made a tackle at the end of the first half. And now Mike Vrabel will call his final timeout with 2 seconds to go. We mentioned this before, but Russell Wilson playing with a heavy heart in this game. His mental conditioning coach, Trevor Moad, who he considered one of his best friends, died of cancer this week at the age of 48. Russell telling us that Trevor will always be with me. He always would text me before a game, "I believe in 3." Russell wrote Trevor's name on his cleats today and was very emotional discussing the loss of his good friend. And for a crowd that makes so much noise all game long, they are all standing and silent, hoping to witness some Russell Wilson magic here with 2 seconds left. Tennessee has 5 up front and everyone back deep. It's not going to be a Hail Mary. They're just going to try to do some laterals or no. That is it. Lockett is down and we are going to overtime. So a Seattle team that has won 12 consecutive home openers, the longest active streak in the league. One more would tie the record set by the Miami Dolphins of the late 70s and 80s. And we'll have a coin toss with John Hussey. And James, I think you have to give a lot of credit to Tennessee, because with this raucous crowd and the way that Seattle was playing in the first half, Tennessee has shown a lot of resiliency here in the second half. A game that has seen a combined 914 yards.
Welcome to modified sudden death overtime. These people get a possession. If during your possession you score a touchdown or a defensive safety, you'll be declared the winner. This game could end in a tie. Each team will get 2 timeouts, and all replay will be handled upstairs. Tennessee, you're still the visiting team. What is your call? Tails is the call. Tails is the call. It is tails. Tennessee will receive in this direction.
A loss for Geno Smith. Tennessee wins the toss. It's their football when we come back. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Tonight on CBS, catch all your favorite stars for the Primetime Emmy Awards. It's live. Cedric the Entertainer is your host. That's tonight on CBS. The start of overtime here in Seattle alongside James Lofton, Sherry Burris, Gene Steratore, our entire crew. I'm Andrew Catalan. A reminder that kickoff of the Chiefs and Ravens is at 8:22 Eastern Time over on NBC. Myers to kick it away. Chester Rogers is back deep. Underway in OT, week 2 of the NFL on CBS. Rogers from his own 3. Rogers runs into his own man at the 17-yard line. So Ryan Tannehill and the Titans offense back on the field. Tannehill, after a slow start, is 26 of 36 for 341 yards passing.
You know, when I think about what Tennessee has done in the second half, it's about Mike Vrabel believing in Derrick Henry. In the first half, Derrick Henry, 13 carries, 35 yards, 2.7 yards per carry. Andrew, in the second half, 17 carries, 126 yards, 7.4 yards per carry. King Henry lives.
Tennessee's had it 5 times in the second half. They scored 3 touchdowns. Tannehill has time, completes it to Henry. That is Derrick Henry's 6th catch of the day. That's a new career high for Henry.
Well, until they split him out wide and throw him a deep ball, he's not really a receiver, eh?
Over 200 yards of total offense for the running back, Derrick Henry.
3 tight ends on the right side.
2nd and 4. They give it to Henry. Bobby Wagner is the first to greet him. Bobby Wagner has 17 tackles today. At 13 a week ago. Not a bad start to his season. And now here they come, the fans on 3rd and 4.
They've got to get these receivers covered up on this side. You've got a free release to the inside receiver, Chester Rogers.
Tannehill trying to communicate the play to his line. They can't hear him. Pressure's coming. Tannehill throws. Incomplete. But a flag comes in. Tannehill was sent to the ground. And that's where the flag is.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, 15 yards, automatic, first down.
Jamal Adams and Kerry Hyder were back there, and I think they're going to get Adams for coming in high. Helmet to helmet. And on 3rd down, a critical penalty goes against Seattle. They now have 100 yards in penalties today.
You just cannot take the extra step and try and punish the quarterback, especially when you go high.
Flag is down before the play and a false start against Tennessee.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Since 2005, this field, Seattle, the second most opponent false start penalties. Only Arizona with more during that time. So a big assist to the 12s here at Lumen Field.
What we have not seen a lot of are bootlegs. We had the bootleg last week where Ryan Tannehill had a fumble and then a touchdown off of it.
Tannehill rolling right, throwing for Brown, incomplete. Would have been a tough catch, but A.J. Brown's had a tough day. And now it's second down and 15.
Tannehill does a nice job on the rollout, getting away from the pressure and getting this ball to an area where it looks like A.J. Brown had the chance to come down with it. But good tight coverage, but A.J. Brown normally would make that play.
Yeah, there's been a couple today.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, you'd think he would have had them. Not the case today. 9 targets, only 3 catches for Brown. Put pass to Rodgers, and he dropped it. And that was dangerously close to popping up in the air for an INT. Amadi was right there in 3rd and long.
You know, we talked earlier when this second half started that each play seemed like it was going to have an impact on the game. And you look at the ball that gets dropped by A.J. Brown, that ball gets dropped by Chester Rogers, and it sets up a 3rd and 14 where you're going to be able to come after the passer, and Ryan Tannehill has to hold the ball long enough for his receivers to get down the field.
6 drops by Tennessee today. 3rd and long. Pressure's coming. Tannehill delivers, incomplete. He threw it behind Chester Rogers, and the Seattle defense gets the job done. Out comes the punter, Brett Kern.
You can't say enough about Bobby Wagner. Yes, he's a middle linebacker. He's also in his 10th season. He covers wide receivers out of the backfield. He brings Derrick Henry down. He puts pressure on the quarterback. A do-it-all middle linebacker, one of the best to ever play this game.
He has 17 tackles with 1 sack today. Only the second punt for Brett Kern. Fair catch by Swain at his own 13-yard line. A reminder, kickoff of the Chiefs and Ravens is 8:22 Eastern on NBC. So now all Seattle needs is a field goal, and they would come away with their 13th consecutive win on opening day.
Seattle has had so many big plays offensively, but they haven't had the sustained success just running the football.
Only 176 yards this half. If you go back to the second half now into overtime for Seattle, compared to 3:18 after halftime for Tennessee. Carson, the running back, on 1st down. It's a play fake. Wilson looking deep for Lockett, makes the adjustment, but he was out of bounds. Good coverage on the play by Christian Fulton and Dane Cruikshank.
Really superb job by Fulton, kind of running Lockett into the boundary. Lockett not giving Russell Wilson a lot of room to work with, but a good job by Fulton, making sure that he really stressed him against that boundary.
Second and 10. Brandon Shell is not back at right tackle. It's still Jones for Seattle. Wilson overthrows DK Metcalf. Christian Fulton is at good coverage today, frustrating Metcalf, and it's 3rd and 10.
When you are backed up, we talked about the lack of a run game. Now you are stressed because you're going to have to, if you don't pick up a 1st down here, Andrew, and you punt the ball, you're giving Tennessee a short field to work on.
On 3rd down today, Seattle just 4 for 11.
Penetration, but if you don't have great gap control, Derrick Henry's going to use his vision Yeah, the offensive linemen are getting knocked back 4 yards, but all he does is bounce around that, and that extra gap, instead of running inside the tackle, just bouncing it outside the tackle. Derrick Henry, great vision to go along with all his physical gifts.
173 yards rushing for Henry. From here, it would be a 45-yard field goal. Henry again up the middle, inside the 25. Now, since 2019, Tennessee has had 14 kickers on their roster. Sam Ficken had won the job in training camp. He got injured 2 days before week 1. They brought in Michael Badgley. He got cut after week 1. Now they bring in Bullock, who coincidentally is number 14. Second and 6. Henry on the right side. And Bobby Wagner makes another tackle. With those struggles, James, how does Mike Vrabel play this 3rd and 5?
I think one more Derrick Henry run. You've asked your kicker which hash he'd rather have the ball on, right hash or left hash, and you run in that direction. This three wide receiver set has actually worked to Tennessee's advantage to really loosen up the defense a little bit.
They do run it with Henry. Cuts it up, and Henry is tackled a yard shy of a first down. And out comes Randy Bullock, who's already missed from 44 yards today, but he did make 3 field goals. Tennessee without its starting left tackle, falling in a big halftime hole. They were down 24-9. Can they walk away with an overtime win? Bullock from 36 yards away. Kick on the way, and it is good! Randy Bullock delivers! And just an incredible win on the road in a raucous atmosphere for the Tennessee Titans. Randy Bullock spent the last 4 years with Cincinnati. Let go at the end of the summer, scooped up by Tennessee, and he delivers the overtime winner for the Titans. The 14th kicker on the roster in the last 3 seasons, and number 14 splits the uprights. 24-9 halftime deficit, and the Titans come back to win. A reminder that tonight on CBS is the Emmy Awards. Coming up next, the State Farm postgame show. So for James Lofton.